All right, hello. My name's Jason. We are here to play Alien, a game from Free League, this is session 3 of 5, and of a scenario called The Hunt. And this game is part of the Gauntlet online gaming community. If you're interested in playing indie and story games or games like Alien, check us out, gauntlet-rpg.com. We've got tons of videos on YouTube. If you click in Gauntlet RPG, you'll see a list of dozens of different games, hundreds of different sessions. If you want to check out the way we work, do so at your leisure. Let's go around the table real quick, and then we're going to jump into where we left off. High excitement scene, but go around the table and just introduce yourself and your character with their pronouns. And you've each gained a new talent, just so you let each other know, and also the viewers. Just tell us what your new talent is and what it does mechanically. Let's start with Paul today. Paul, tell us about yourself and your character.
Oh,
you're muted.
You're still muted, Paul.
How about now?
Yeah, you're good now.
Excellent, excellent. I turned it off when on. Hi, I'm Paul, he, him, and I'm playing Darius, also he, him. For my sins, I'm sort of the leader of this motley crew. And with my story point, or with my new talent, I picked Overkill, which allows me to... basically, when there's a panic effect, I can say I don't like that panic effect and instead select Overkill. Must admit, I'm not too sure what Overkill does, but it sounds pretty cool.
Right. This is like Hudson in Aliens when they're attacked, towards the end of the movie, when they're attacked in the operations center, and he just loses it, and he, starts shooting every direction before he dies. So this is like if you're in a combat and you get a lot of stress, instead of screaming or running away, you can trigger Overkill, which means you'll just stand there and fight until either you're the only one standing or your opponent is the only one standing. So that's how that works. We'll see if that comes up. Let's go to Alan. Tell us about yourself and your character.
My name is Alan. I use he, him. And today I'm playing Bryant, also he, him. He is the captain of Darius Park's private yacht, and also his brother-in-law. And they are, I think, mutual buddies. Certainly, I think it's fair to say that Bryant thinks of Darius as his buddy. He doesn't have much time for the doctor, must be said. I did have as a talent field commander. I've now added to that nerves of steel to reflect the fact that I am a decorated Marine officer.
Okay.
In my previous life.
And definitely remind me of that. I'll forget when we're playing that you get that -2 to all your panic rolls. That's a nice talent to have for sure. And Will, tell us about yourself and your character.
Hi, my name is Will. My pronouns are he, him, as are those of my character, Noah Emerson, who is basically a fixer, a drug dealer, a medic in training, and a maybe more like a chemist in calling. He supplies Darius with the drugs that help him sleep at night, and other things as well. And as my new talent, I took fast reflexes, having been at the bottom of initiative order with 3 aliens before. That was a terrible, terrible experience, and don't want to repeat it. So I draw 2 cards, get the highest one. I'll remind you of that because, like, you drew the initiative cards, right? So
right. If we were playing this game around a table, there would be a little deck of cards, and we would all reach in and grab a card, when we start initiative. But playing online, it works better with me just handling the card deal. All right, so won't go into great depth as to where we left off, but what happened is that you guys were attacked by a couple Telvin monkeys, xenomorph Telvin monkeys. And they attacked your Jeep that you were in, and we ended with you had Noah had hit the gas, and this Jeep started speeding backwards through this tunnel on this track, and you ran over like the body of like one of these monkeys that you had dropped, and two of them kind of toppled off of the Jeep, from the acceleration. They toppled to the ground as you're speeding away, and your headlights, you see them in your headlights as you move away. I've created a little bit of a rough battle map. Kind of the green lines show the zones, and I think I said you had gone 3 zones back, but I double checked. It's actually 4 zones. So you sped 4 zones back, and at the very bottom left of this little this tunnel is that red. You see that red rectangle? That's the hatch that you guys are aiming to get to. An open hatch that you were planning to, crawl through and make your escape. Situations. Bryant, you had used up your ammo, so your gun is currently out of bullets. Will had got stabbed by the tail of one of these things and feels himself starting to get groggy. And then you have a couple more rounds before you're going to pass out. What else? Sitka's passed out in the back in the bed of this Jeep with Darius and the synthetic person Kyoko. And the Jeep looks like, just to jog your memories, looks like this. And Kyoko looks like this. And the tunnel itself looks like this. But let me take us back to the battle mat and let's get back into it. All right, so we are at the top of the order. And remember that PCs, as long as you can communicate with each other, you can switch initiative orders at the start of every round. And at the start of a round, everybody has a slow action and a fast action. Again, if we were sitting at a table, I'd probably use like little poker chips, little red and white poker chips that you would have in front of you to show you that you still have each of your actions. So you have those actions sort of sitting in front of you that you can use at any point, either on your turn, or there's certain reactions that you can do during other people's actions, or other people's turns. And on your turn, you can do a slow action and a fast action, or you can convert the slow action into a fast action. So you could do 2 fast actions. First of all, though, does anybody want to switch initiative amongst the PCs?
Since I'm first, no.
Okay.
But we could drive away faster.
Oh, I see. So we are right. So we're getting to drive on our hubs, but we're not stopped.
I did
yet.
roll for the Jeep too. The Jeep miraculously, maybe it's a little, the wheels pitted, but it didn't suffer any real substantial damage from the acid.
Okay, then I will punch Noah in the arm to keep him awake and say floor it.
Okay.
And trade my initiative with him.
Okay.
I mean, that does put you at the bottom. I am sorry about that.
It does. It does.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to give Bryant the 10, and we'll give Noah the 1. And put them back in ascending order. Okay. So that looked good. Noah, then Darius, then the creatures, then Kyoko, then the creatures go twice more, then Bryant.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm going to just drive the hell away.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
All right. Driving on this track at high speed, you move 4 zones per action. So you can move 8 zones. So I'm going to go ahead and move you guys. Now, it is a little, curvy, and you're driving on this track. So I'm going to have you make a piloting roll to see if any mishap happens in your drive. Cool. So just make a straight piloting roll. Oh, actually, you make it at +1 because this Jeep is kind of maneuverable.
Cool, will do. I will also yell at anybody as I clutch my thing, like, grab the stim out of the bag, out of my bag, grab the stim. Okay. With the hope that maybe Kyoko will do that since she only has a taser rather than a gun.
It's a good point. So make a piloting roll. Oh, boy.
Oh, dear.
All right. So first things first, You make a panic roll.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
4 facehuggers. 4 out of 6.
Not good. That's possibly one of the worst rolls ever.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Sorry,
push-
panic. I couldn't
Yeah.
see it on the thing. I just had my screens all weird.
Okay.
A 9.
We'll take your first roll. You rolled a 7. You must have hit it twice. So we'll take your first one.
Yeah.
Which you rolled a 1 on the die, which is not too bad. That's the what do they call it? Tremble. Or
It's,
no?
it's a nervous twitch.
Nervous twitch.
Everyone's best level. Who
Everybody gets
isn't
another
my
stress.
rival. Goes up by 1.
Yep.
Yeah.
So everybody get a stress. Unless anybody have Noah as a rival? I don't think so.
No.
No.
No one did. No.
I'm thinking very hard about that.
Yeah.
Since Sitka's not here, I suppose. Why not? Yeah.
Okay. And you failed to roll, and you can't push because you got a panic. So I need you to roll a die for me. Let me find it. Let's see. This is no, not that one. Roll a 6-sided die for me.
That's a 4.
4. All right. Let me find it in my notes.
I do like that Paul's background changes to wherever we are every time.
Yeah. Okay. Here we go. Something mechanical breaks. This Jeep is going to go another turn, which is like 10 minutes. So in combat terms, it's forever. So the good news is that it's not going to affect you during combat. But once this combat's over, that Jeep's going to go kaput. You're grinding the transaxle or whatever.
Whatever it is that they say.
Whatever. Yeah, exactly. Whatever that means.
Yeah. No, that's cool.
What do you say? Like,
do we still get the whole 8?
Yes.
Distance?
Yep. You still did. So you should see you guys, your little pile of characters have all moved down the tunnel. That's both your actions. So you're actually real close to the hatch now. You're only 1 zone away, which is like 10, 15, 20 meters, maybe max. For the purposes of the other characters acting, are you bringing the truck to a stop at this point, or is it still zooming along at 70 kilometers per hour?
I think it's a case of like I have to slow down, right? Or I'm just going to go straight past it anyways. So like we've come pretty much to a halt. Like 1 zone in a car is not, it's like rolling forward, isn't it? Basically.
So yeah, you're moving slow enough that we'll say people can jump out and run the rest of the way if they want to. And you zoomed back, and those monsters are no longer in sight. So they're back there down the tunnel, but you cannot actually see them from here as we move to Darius, to your turn.
Okay.
What would you like?
I just remembered. I'm still at the front with the aliens coming towards me because we're reversing down this tunnel.
That's right.
So lovely.
Right. Paul, what would you like to do?
Can you tell me mechanically short range on the battle map how many sort of sections would be short?
So there's, let's see, 1, 2, 3, there's 5 ranges in this game. There's engage, which is in the same zone, in melee combat with each other, right next to each other. Then there's short range, which is in the same zone but outside of melee range. Then there's medium range, which is the next zone over. Then there's long range, which is out to 4 zones, and then there's extreme range, which is out to 1 kilometer. So short is in your same zone, but not right next to you.
Okay, because my overkill, it will force people to make a panic roll if I activate it, if they're within short range. So can I advance, please, with my short or my long action,
you mean move?
Please?
Like, sure. So
please.
One thing on overkill, it's not like you activate it. It's like you have to wait. There's a certain level of panic that you get. I think it's 10 or I think it's 11 or above. So if you on a panic roll, you get 11 or more, then I'm not sure if you have the option of doing it or if you have to do it, but then that's when overkill is activated. So it's a panic reaction. It's like it adds a different kind of panic reaction. So it's not something you can necessarily choose to do. You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
But
I mean, if I can advance 2 sections, that will give me a good view down the corridor.
okay.
So I don't know how far I can move on foot.
So for every action, you can move 1 zone. So your first action will be jumping out of the Jeep. So you jump out of the back of the Jeep onto the ground, and then you can move 1 zone. And can you guys move yourself in this, or do I have to do it? I'm not sure if you can click and drag. Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
mine's not
There's
moving.
probably ways I can do it, but I'll just do it for you. Darius, and you want to move deeper? You want to move back the way you came?
No, I want to move towards the aliens. Yeah, that's right.
That's right. Okay. All right. So a brave man moves forward. Then the aliens move, and you don't hear or see anything. Then Kyoko, I just want to take a picture of the Jeep real quick, see if it makes sense that she can reach over and grab a med pack. Yeah, I think she probably can reach around and grab your med pack. And do you want her to go ahead and jab you with it? She probably can do both in the same round.
I mean, yeah, you know what? Why not jab me with it?
Okay. Let's make a roll. She has to make a first aid roll. Remove it from your character sheet. It's a 1-use item, but it does give her a +2 on this. So she actually has a little bit of medical aid. Modifier +2. Submit.
Nice.
And she got you. All right. So you are feeling your eyes brighten and you're feeling good. Grab a pencil. Then the creatures go twice. Let me get back to the battle map. All right. So
I bet you they can move more than what. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. I think probably from there, what you see, Darius, the others probably can kind of catch a little of this too. Maybe there's one of those green lights is sort of here at that corner. So you see this, they're moving incredibly fast down this tunnel, and you can see, you probably can only really see this one that's kind of at the top. It's climbing on the wall, scrabbling along, and you see it there moving quickly towards you guys. That's using both their actions. So then we finally finish up with Bryant.
Now I know that giving commands last time had an advantage, but I can't remember the details.
Okay. So what happens is usually you have to use a slow action to give a command, but you have a talent that allows you to use a fast action to give a command. You would yell out something to somebody. You would be like, run away or shoot your gun this way or, whatever. And if they do what you said, then they get 1 extra die for each success on a command roll.
I remember. But presumably, because I'm at the end of the initiative order this time.
That's right.
There's no benefit in that at all.
It does carry forward.
Oh,
does it? Yeah, it's like you bank it until you do it.
Okay. And the other, I'm looking at reload. Reload is a slow action, isn't it?
That's right.
I think, and firing is a slow action.
That's right.
Then I will draw my EVA pistol.
Okay. So that's a fast action. And you got 1 other fast action.
Oh, don't I have a slow
Or
action?
a slow action. I'm sorry, you have a slow action.
And with my slow action, I will say to Kyoko, make sure Noah gets to that panel.
Okay. And the panel, I'm picturing it, in movie logic. This is the panel that you drove by, earlier. So it's open. It's not going to require any, ripping it off or using electronics or anything. It's an open hole in the wall. But you want Kyoko to make sure Noah gets to that tunnel. All right. Make a command roll. Straight up, no modifiers. Absolutely nothing.
Nothing.
So
how could you roll that many dice and not even get a face?
I know. You can push if you want, and pushing is you add a stress and you roll everything again.
No.
Everything. Nope, let it go. All right. So Kyoko doesn't hear you, and all the excitement will say, it just doesn't sink in. That is the end of the round. So then we go to the top of the next round. And do you guys want to shuffle your initiative this time at all?
Oh, yes.
Yes, I would like to change back with Brian, I think.
Okay. Does that work for you, Bryant? So Bryant goes back to 10, or Noah goes to 10, and Bryant goes to 1.
And they're going to have to get through Darius and Brian to get to me anyways. So.
Sending. All right. Top of the third round. So, Bryant, you are up.
I don't think that I have a target at this point.
No, it's 1, 2, 3, 4 zones away, which is long range. I don't think the pistol has that much range.
No, it doesn't. So I'm going to use Field Commander and say to Darius, we'll get to the panel. Don't hang about. On your toes, Darius.
Okay.
So that's a short action for me, isn't it? Because of
right.
Field Commander, my fast action rather.
Right.
And then I am going to get to that panel as quickly as I can.
Okay. So you'd use a fast action to get out of the Jeep.
Okay.
So you're standing there by the Jeep now. Make a command roll. Darius can, if he uses that to move, what do you say, move to the panel or give us time to move to the panel or something like that?
No, the idea is what I'm wanting to do is to give him a bonus on mobility, which is,
okay,
don't hang about.
Okay.
Yeah, but for normally moving about, I don't think I'd make a roll.
Would you need to use mobility if you were running away from them? That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I'll use a broad brush to figure out how we use that. But go ahead and make the command roll.
Well, no. Then if I think then it is better to say cover us, and then he gets the bonus on the shoot.
Okay.
So no bonuses on command.
Okay, that's pretty good.
That's
so
right.
He's got 2 extra dice. You do have the option of pushing if you wish.
No.
Okay. All right. So Darius, you got 2 bonus dice to cover them, and it is your turn.
What is the range on grenades? I've got range medium, actually.
Right. You're thinking of the. Are you going to throw a grenade, or do you imagine it's in the grenade launcher underslung on the pulse rifle?
Well, I've got 2 frag grenades. I don't really know if they're. I got them out of the closet, so I don't think they're.
I think they're interchangeable.
I haven't actually got any stats.
Yeah, I think at least for our purposes, they're interchangeable. So you can either throw them, or you can set them sort of as like an explosive, or you can have them loaded into the grenade launcher underslung on the pulse rifle. It's totally up to you however you want to do it.
Okay, so
the reason
will the underslung reach 3 zones?
I am double checking. I believe. Yeah, grenade launcher has a long range. Okay, so you could reach from here. It's a long range shot, so you would be. They've got dim light, so that's -1 on your roll. They've got long range is -2, so you're down 3 dice. But Darius gave, or Bryant gave you 2 dice for shooting to slow these things down. This would definitely qualify. So you're only down 1 die if you want to make that shot with a grenade launcher.
Yeah, excellent. Well, fire in the hold.
Okay. Thump. Go ahead and roll. Put in a -1 on. Let me check one more thing. Okay, so with the +1 from the, with the pulse rifle's natural +1 bonus, it's going to be an even roll overall. So when it says modifier, just put in -1 and the computer will take care of the rest for us.
Okay, -1 input. Here we go.
All right, you got 1 success. And you could push if you wanted to make it better. Right now, what's going to happen is you're going to do 1 damage to the one you're shooting at, which is kind of the one on the top part of our map. And then the explosive is going to damage that one, and then also the other one. Basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to have you roll 9 base dice, and each hit on those 9 dice will do another point of damage to those, in the explosion range.
Okay, so if I push it, what?
If you push it,
what will I get?
If you push it, you could get stunts. So you could either do more damage to that one that you hit with the grenade, or
let's
you could
push it.
You want to push it? All right, great. So add a point of stress.
Yep.
And then roll. Again, what we're doing is, if we're sitting at the table, you would take that 1 hit you already have and you'd put that die to the side, and then you'd roll all the other dice. So really what we're going to want to have you roll is
-2 modifier.
Yeah, no, because it's a stress die that you rolled your hit on. So we're taking one of those yellow dice away. So basically, do this. This is how you should take that point of stress I just told you to add. Take it off just for the purposes of this roll.
Yeah.
Once this roll is done, add it right back on.
Okay. So range combat with a -1 modifier.
That's right. That's a messy looking roll. All right, so.
Add the stress.
Add the stress back to 7. Make a panic roll. Ooh, 12.
That's fine, because that's higher than 11.
That's
so
right.
I would like to set off overkill.
All right. Let me remind myself how that works. Panic, there's a handout called Panic, When to Roll, and Other something, and it has overkill. Let's see. You can replace the effect of a panic result 11 or higher by the overkill. All right. You must immediately attack your enemies, and you won't stop until you or all your enemies are broken. All players in short range of you must make an immediate panic roll. No one's in the same zone as you, so none of them, you stand there, do we see any visible signs that you're going into this berserker rage?
Yeah, I'll just start shouting, get some, you get some, get some.
Right. The rest of you are too far away. You don't have to make a panic roll, but you hear Darius having a moment. Usually you would say when you get 10 or above, it causes you to fail the rest, but since you have overkill, I'll allow your roll to stand. So you move into overkill. You've got 2 more hits on this? So you've got.
So I've got +3. I've got 3 hits then, yeah.
That's right. So you can go to the range combat handout, or the skills and stunts handout. Scroll down to range combat, and you've got 2 stunts. You can do extra damage to the one that the grenade landed on right next to, or you can knock them down. You can pin them, which would cause them to lose a slow action.
So do I get 1 of these or 2 of these?
2. You got 2 stunts. So for each,
I think pin them down and fall to the ground.
Okay, that sounds good. Let me make a note. So you pin them. Can
they make a panic roll? Oh no, NPCs, they just miss the next action. That's good. Yeah, I like that.
Yep, that's real good. All right, now you still have the blast now. So it hits it. The blast causes 1 damage to that one. and we'll say that's the one that was already damaged. Let me make a roll. It might block some of that with its armor. Let me find out. It does. It blocks that that initial blast of the grenade landing right next to it. It blocks that with its armor. Then you roll 9 dice. So if you go to your sheet under roll buttons, it says base dice. Click that and push in 9 and then submit. There's no stress or anything on this. This is just seeing how much. All right, so then they're each going to take 1 damage from the blast. So again, I'm going to roll to see if their armor blocks it. I'll just roll once for both of them. And it does. So these things are knocked down. They are pinned. So it's going to slow them down, but it doesn't actually do any damage to them. Their thick carapace blocks this blast of this grenade. Mark a grenade off your character sheet, and I think you're done. It is their turn. They lose their slow action because they were stunned by this blast and they fell down. So it'll take their slow action to stand up, or their fast action to stand up. So they use their whole round just to recover from this grenade. They don't move at all. Then it's Kyoko's turn. I think Kyoko's going to grab Sitka and lead/carry her 1 zone towards this hatch. Then it is the aliens' turn. They are going to move. They're going to sprint with their slow action to here, and then they're going to move. Oops. Then they're going to use their fast action to move into the same zone as Darius. They're not in engaged range. They're at short range now, but they're coming at you. That slobber's there, and they're shrieking. They're moving right at you with evil intent. Then they get to go again on 9. So they're going to move into engaged range. I think one will move into engaged range with you. The other one's going to run by. And let's see, it would use its fast action to move into the zone next to where Noah is, and it will use then its other action to move into engage range. So this thing runs up to the Jeep. It doesn't have a door, it's just an open area there. So it runs up, it grabs the roll bar, and it just comes in. It's right up in your face there, Noah. It's trying to climb into the Jeep with you. And I have you guys driving on the right side because Weyland-Yutani is a British company, or British/Japanese company. So that is it. Noah, it is your turn. You've got a nasty creature right up in your face.
Okay. At engage range,
Yeah.
isn't it, I guess.
So if you want to get up,
can I
sure
shoot it?
can. If you shoot from engage range, there is a -3 trying to hit something.
No, but can I just
shove it?
Like
Shove it.
fast
Yeah.
action?
I thought you said shoot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Yep, you can shove it. So there's if you want to get something out of your face or get away from it when it's engaged range, you can just you can do evade, I think they call it, which uses mobility, try to move away without it hitting you, or you can shove it, which uses close combat to try to push it out of your zone or out of engaged range, basically. So yeah, if you want to shove it, I think, is that a fast action? I think it's a fast action.
It is, yeah. It's retreat is the name of the mobility one.
Right.
I do want to shit.
All right, so if you want to shove it, you make a close combat roll. I will say these things are fairly big and bulky and strong, so I'm going to give you a -1 on this.
Yeah, it makes sense. Boom, 1 hit.
All right. You don't need more successes. I don't think they would do any good, so you're not going to want to push on this. So you push it. It's out of engaged range into short range. It's still in the same zone, but it's, you push it away from the truck. It's kind of like pushes back to the wall, and it spins ready to come at you. And then you've got your slow action still.
I don't have my gun ready, do I? I would have to draw it to do so. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I draw it. That's my roll. That's my turn. I draw my gun.
Okay. Do you draw the? You have a shotgun, right?
Yeah, I draw the shotgun. I think the shotgun's like maybe like on the seat next to me. You know, like,
right. So you reach over, and grab the shotgun.
Yeah.
All right.
Kick it out of like full on like swing from the top of the thing to full 2 feet, kick it in the face backwards against the thing.
Nice.
Then reach over and grab the shotgun.
All right, we are at the top of the next round. So, do you guys want to flip initiative at all?
I don't.
Okay.
Can I trade with Kyoko?
No, you can't trade with NPCs, but good try. Okay, we're gonna go with what we got then. So, Bryant, what would you like to do?
Okay, so I can use command as a fast action, and again, it will be to Darius. Hold that fucking thing off. Roll to command.
Nope.
No bonuses.
Okay.
That is 2 successes, though.
So as long as he keeps it busy, we'll give him 2 dice. And do you wish to push that?
Okay.
Okay. All right. So that's a
point.
fast action.
And then my slow action is an aimed shot at the one that Noah's kicked
that's a
away.
Straight up range combat. It's dim there. The lighting's not great, so it's a little bit obscured because he's like on the other side of the Jeep. So we'll give you a -1 overall. So do a range combat attack at -1.
Whoops, -1.
You just
okay.
There you go. All right, you got a hit. It's going to do a point of damage. Do you wish to push it? It is a that's right. You'll have half his armor.
I don't know. And remind me, pushing allows me
reroll
to
all the dice except for the one that
reroll.
already was a success.
Okay, so in effect, then I would remove. The way we're doing this is I'm knocking stress down by 1, re-rolling, and then putting stress up.
You would just leave your stress as it is for now,
okay.
And then once you do the shot, you would add that point of stress on.
Okay, I'm prepared to take a chance. Then.
Sounds good. All right, so just make the exact same roll.
Oh, damn.
Okay.
So I'll increase stress by 1.
Yeah, increase your stress by 1. It should go to 5. Then hit the panic button. But But I don't know if I don't think it gives you a chance to put a modifier on the panic roll. But we'll take 2 off whatever you roll because of your new talent. 8 minus 2 is 6. You hold it together. 6 or less, you hold it together. So your talent comes in useful there for sure. All right, you still got 1 hit, so it does 1 damage on this creature. Brian, is this the one that was already slightly damaged, or is this the undamaged one? What do you think?
Based on the way that they were arranged, I think that the one in front of Darius is the one that was previously damaged.
Okay, so this is an undamaged one. Let me roll its armor, but it only has 3 dice because of this laser beam shoots out, hits it, and it does not block any of it. It does take a point of damage. All right, so this is the one by Noah, and this is the one by Darius. Okay. Acid sprays like up against the wall. Luckily, Noah's not in an engaged range, so he doesn't get hit by the acid. Darius, it is your turn. You have a nasty right up in your grill. You do have 2 extra dice to hold this thing at bay.
Okay, for my quick action, is there any movement I can do in quick?
You can do what they call it, retreat. You would make a mobility roll to move away from it without it hitting you. Do you want to try that?
Or it's -3 to hit it.
You've got a couple options. Tactically, you could do what Noah did. You could try to like shove it away and then shoot it, and then you wouldn't have the minus. Or you.
Yeah, I'm a lot better at shoving it than I am at
probably
mobility. Yeah. So shoves the
Yep.
Shoved away. Okay,
hold,
here we go.
Hold on one
Shove
second
it.
though. So you do have the -1 because it's bigger and stronger than you are. So you're gonna have a -1 on this. A close combat attack at -1. Do you want to use the +2 that Bryant gave you on this, or do you want to save that for like shooting it or something?
I'll save that for shooting it.
Okay, so make a close combat attack at -1. All right, you got a panic, so roll that first. 13. Let me read about overkill. If you have overkill, can you also then suffer other panic results? Overkill. As far as I know,
It doesn't seem to say anything, does it?
no.
About how it interacts with other panic
Right.
tools.
I think it's, I think it's going
I'm still trying to. So what does actually overkill do?
It makes you have to stand there and fight to the death, basically.
But gives me no advantage at all.
No, there's no advantage. I will say though, I think that once that's locked in, I'm gonna say we'll do it trial by trial, but I think in this case, I think it's going to make you immune to this, because what a 13 is flee, which kind of goes against what overkill is all about.
Yeah, overkill's only real benefit is that you don't have to ditch the rest of your party. You can be the, you know what I mean? Like,
so
you're immune to a lot of other effects.
Isn't it likely that overkill is still in place from last time?
Yeah, it lasts.
It
carries on until either he's dead or his opponents are dead. So I'm going to say that in this case, that panic doesn't have any additional effect. You're just extra overkill now. So let's move on. Oh, you did get a success though, right?
Yeah, well, I got 3. So is that a?
There's no, you shove it. There's no stunts on shoving. So you push it. It's in the same zone as you, but now it's in short range. So now you can shoot it without a minus. So now you're shooting it. It is dim. So we'll give you a -1 for that. Although the head beams, you got the head beams are still on. So that's lighting this guy up. You guys are silhouetted in your melee here.
We reversed, didn't we?
Right. So there's no minus for that. So then I'll give you the +2 that Bryant gave you. So you're making a range combat attack at +2.
Do you have to type +2 or just 2 in the modifier?
Just two.
Just 2. Okay.
All right. You got another panic. We'll just say house rule it that we'll ignore panic for you since you're already in this panic condition. So we'll skip panic. So you got 2 successes. We'll say that you can't push it because of the panic. So you've got 2 hits. So you're going to do 2 damage to this thing, and then you have 1 stunt.
Let's go for extra damage.
All right. So you're looking at 3 damage. And this thing, it has armor piercing, so this thing is only going to get 3 dice on its armor roll. And it misses. That is enough to knock this thing down. Let me make a quick roll here. Oh, yeah. Darius, you splatter this thing. You do. You know what? And you did. I'm sorry.
The tracer round, so as the headlights are beaming, it keeps getting illuminated by the tracer effect. As this thing's pushed into a wall and hammered into the wall.
Right. It slumps to the ground in parts, and the acid on the wall starts sizzling, into the wires and the pipes and stuff that are on the tunnel wall. You keep firing. You're probably screaming a little bit, and your gun's like click, 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 click. It's out of ammo because you got a face hugger, so your ammo was used up on this shot. So keep that in mind, and you are done. We move now to the monster, the monster. So the monster is going to bounce off the wall. and move in and attack Noah. Noah, do you want me to roll a d6 for the attack, or do you want to do it?
Go for it, Jason.
All right. D6. Low is better. And
It's going to be a 6.
it is a 4.
Again, it's a 4.
4 for these.
I think that's tail stab, isn't it?
No, this is a situational one. So
Oh.
this is called Your Fear is Delicious. The xenomorph catches the enticing scent of any prey trying to run away or hide. So it gets knocked into the wall and it catches I don't know how they even see. They don't have eyes, but it sees Kyoko running away with Sitka. And that seeing prey running is so delicious. So it leaps over the Jeep with its, let's see, that would be, they're the next zone over, right? Yeah, so it's going to move over to them. It can do that with its fast action, and then it's going to use a slow action to attack Kyoko. So I'm going to make another D6 roll. Let's see. If it reaches it this round, it knocks them down. Oh, let's see. It immediately tries to break out of combat, move towards its new target. If it reaches it, it will bound into them to knock them down. So it charges right into Kyoko and Sitka, knocks them to the ground, and it does an attack with 8 base dice. If the prey takes any damage, it's knocked prone. All right, so I got to make a roll. 8 base dice. Kyoko hasn't gone yet, and she has a talent called dodge. So she sees it in her periphery, and she tries to like dodge it as it comes jumping at them. So I'll roll that for her in a second. Submit. Ooh, I got 4 successes out of 8. Kyoko's going to try to dodge, and she is, as we've established, she's incredibly agile. So let's see. It's going to need a big roll here for her. She did not get enough. So it got 4 minus 1. It got 3 successes against her. So that's going to do, it's going to knock her and Sitka to the ground. And she's going to take 1, 2, 3 damage. Noah, this thing moving away from you, though, makes you feel relieved, and you actually lose a point of stress.
Bring up the shotgun, it leaps over the top of
Right. Your heart rate drops a little bit. Kyoko took 3 damage. She's pretty tough, though, as you would imagine for a synthetic person. So she's laying on the ground. This thing's hovering over her and Sitka as they're on the ground now. And it is Kyoko's turn. Kyoko is going to stand up and whack this thing with the stun baton. She's got to make a power roll because this thing uses power. She uses up 1 power on the stun baton. She makes a close combat attack. She gets 3 successes. Wow. All right. So she's going to apply that all to damage. She's going to try to take this thing out. She does have, it does have armor. So I got to roll its armor. Wow, they all missed. All right. That is going to knock that thing down. Got a 4. Okay, so she hits it. Maybe she like jabs the electrode right into this thing's little mouth, and it starts to sizzle. It drops to the ground. It's like flailing around. It's not dead, but it's flailing around. And I have to make a stamina roll to see if it's affected by the stun effect. Let's see. So that would be 4 dice. It misses. So it's totally stunned. The electricity is crackling over its skin. It's flailing around. Now, the bad news is this attack does acid comes spraying out. So I got to see if Kyoko gets hit by this acid. I've got to roll 6 + 3, 9 dice. Submit. Acid splashes onto Kyoko. She takes a couple points of damage from acid, and it continues to burn. Acid, 9, Kyoko. I will say they've maneuvered away from Sitka, so we won't have Sitka get hit. But Kyoko she's looking pretty bad. She's got maybe not electrodes, but like in Alien, they have like those weird looking bulbs and stuff. Like a lot of that stuff's getting exposed. Her skin's getting eaten away by this acid, plus just getting knocked down by this monstrosity. And it is time for the creatures. The one on the ground is flailing around, but it stops. It dies. The one by Kyoko dies. The one battling with Darius, it wasn't stunned or anything, Darius. You were just shooting it, right? Oh, you killed yours. Did you kill? You killed yours. So they're both dead. All right, that's it. Combat is over.
Holy shit! I'll run over and I suppose there's not anything I can really do for Kyoko, is there?
No, she needs a workshop or something to, patch her up and repair her.
Couldn't we? I mean, if we could neutralize the acid, can't we?
Yeah, you can. If you guys want to use a med kit to it probably has some alkaline, substance in there. You can pour that out if somebody wants to whip out a med kit and slap that on her.
Brian?
Yeah,
I'm out of med kits.
Oh, really?
Well, just because I like the use of medical in this game is a bit weird, I think.
Oh, see, so anything you use in the med kit uses up the med kit.
I'll tell you what. I was thinking about this, earlier because it's like usually when you use a med kit, it's used to stop someone or to give them hit points back. Healing is weird in this game, but we'll talk more about that if it comes up. But in this case, we'll just say you're just using a part of the med kit. So I won't say you use up the whole med kit, but you won't get the +2 that it gives you. You'll just make a straight up first aid roll if you want to neutralize this acid before it continues to burn. So Bryant, you run up to Kyoko, you pull out, some sort of powder that neutralizes acid. You pour it on her, make a medical aid roll to see if it, is effective.
Can I assist him in this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So give yourself an extra die.
Well, I mean, can I just give the med kit to Noah? My guess is he's better at this than I am.
Okay, we'll flip it around. So you look at it, you're like, I don't know what to do. And you give it to Noah, and Noah's like, okay, you do this, and you're helping him. So Noah, go ahead and roll with an extra die.
But panic.
All right, so go ahead and panic.
12.
12. 12.
I'm not surprised in the that calm after the storm, the reaction sets in.
Right.
So what happens is I think I rush through all of that as an automatic kind of thing, but as competent, and then as it stops and Kyoko just sort of looks up, I just step back and go, ah!
Right.
Let out a scream, and everybody around me must make a immediate panic roll.
Right. I think Darius is still a little bit a ways. Oh, he would still hear this, though. All right, so Darius and Bryant make a panic roll.
Isn't there something about my command being able to, when another character makes a panic roll and loses control, you can take command, roll to return them to their senses before that?
Right. That would be an ongoing thing. You could have used that to go up to Darius and be ease down to take away his overkill. But this is sort of an acute moment where, Noah just lets out this scream. So there's really no chance for you to use command in this situation to do that.
Not just slap him.
Yeah. I mean, it just goes for a moment. So in the mid scream, you slap him, but I'm going to still have to make the panic roll. But you do get a subtract 2. All right, so Bryant, you're okay. Darius got an 11. You've got to seek cover. You're not actually in combat. So Darius,
It feels like we're going to take cover anyways, right? We're going to
yeah.
leave right at this point.
All right, let me take care of the mechanical aspects of these things before we move on. So first of all, when you get a 10 or more, you fail whatever you're trying to do. So even though, Noah, you got successes on your attempt to do the medical aid, you started screaming and fucked it up. So you didn't succeed. So I'm gonna have to roll the acid for her. I'll take care of that in a moment. Your screaming has a cathartic effect and reduces your stress by 1, Noah. Everybody else made those panic rolls. Okay, so we got that. Bryant slaps you in mid-scream and holds his shit together. Darius, Paul, you have to take cover. What do you think that looks like? You're muted.
Did you say it was at -2 or not?
His was at Bryant's is at -2 because of his talent. Yours is straight up normal.
Okay. Yeah, not a problem. So seek cover. I think you hear me shouting. You know, there could be more. Get behind the ATV.
Right.
So yeah, I'll seek cover behind the ATV.
Okay. Your stress is taking cover makes you feel a little better, so your stress drops by 1. And the others, when this happened, were not within short range of you, so I won't have them increase theirs by 1. All right, so that takes care of all the panic effects. Let me roll to see how Kyoko's feeling. The acid every round it reduces by half, so it had 9 dice. Now it's down to 4 dice. So I'm going to roll 4 dice to see if the acid continues to burn into Kyoko. And I got nothing. So the acid burns out, luckily. She stands up. Her dress is all like ripped and acid burned. And she goes, is it too late to go back to the chateau? And
yeah, it's definitely too late to go back to the chateau.
And I think that takes care of all of the immediate aftermath of the combat. Let's take a 5-minute break. Let me grab some coffee, breathe for a minute, and then we'll move on from there. Okay. So I'll see you guys at 10:12 or so.
Thought those things were never going to die.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there is something about the kind of the it takes a lot of combat.
Okay, so you're in this tunnel. You got a Jeep that's, it's not going any farther. The electrical drivetrain, whatever, transaxle's blown on this thing. Kyoko's a mess, but she's, took out this nasty creature. It's sizzling on the ground. There's another one sizzling up against the wall. Noah just let out a scream, and Darius is huddling, in cover, shaking with, probably half his body's adrenaline supply, and Brian has just slapped Noah.
I think after being slapped, Noah goes, fumbles into his coat pocket and pulls out a Napraleaf injection and like nods at Brian and then just goes.
Is there a chance I can intervene?
Sure. You can just say no.
I want to try and stop him, if necessary, with command, but otherwise, grab his hand.
Okay. Grab my hand. I look at you like, I just need this, Brad. I just need this to calm down. Okay.
No,
we just need to calm down.
No, you don't. It's all over. You will calm down. Just cool it. Save it till you really need it.
But I need it now, Brian. I need it now. Like you needed it earlier. I need it now.
No, you don't.
Well, he needs it. I point at Darius, like, got a Nam flashback behind the APC.
Just trust me. I've been in these situations before. Just swallow it, breathe. It'll be fine.
Noah just slips it back into his pocket and then turns around and heads off to help Kyoto and Sitka towards the hatch.
Why don't you leave that with me, Noah?
The Napraleaf? You got a habit, Brian?
No. But I trust me to save that till we need it. I don't trust you, Noah. I won't push it.
Okay.
But I would like now to swap Sitka for Noah as my rival.
Okay. Let's wait to the end of the session. We'll stick within the rules, but that certainly makes sense. But we'll do that at the end.
Okay, I think while those two are arguing, clearly there are no more enemies, so I will come out of that panic and over.
Right.
I'll wander over to one of these dead aliens, and I'll turn to the rest of the group and sort of wolf whistle and say, "Yay! Quick! Let's get the selfies. This is awesome. Come on, roll up, get a selfie. And I'd like to activate banter.
Okay. I don't think you guys feel it's a safe situation. So yeah, your banter lands a little hollow because you hear the shrieks in the distance down the tunnel, and you hear it coming from the way you just reversed, from, that blockage you hear, and then you hear like an answering shriek back behind you. And then the first one shrieks again, and it sounds a little bit closer. So it sounds like you're going to have some company pretty soon. What are you guys going to do?
I'm going to raise an eyebrow at Darius and say, "Not in time, old friend," and point at the whole point was to get to this vent. The map says we can get round that blockage through this vent. So while they're coming here, we go there.
Okay. So you guys start crawling in the vent. I think I would imagine Kyoko and Sitka are already halfway through it at this point. Noah's right there, so I imagine you follow. Who's going to bring up the rear between Bryant and Darius?
I'm more than happy to bring up the rear. What I would like to do, I'd like to set one of, my last remaining frag grenade. I'd like to set that as a booby trap on the pipe behind me.
Okay. do you want to set it like right at the entrance to it or halfway through? I'll tell you that when you guys start to crawl through this vent is, whether it's, seismic activity or bad construction, it's half collapsed. You're like crawling through, like pipes are like, half blocking the tunnel, and you're crawling through. There's some of this nasty xenomorph slime stuck on the wall that you're kind of like sliding past. So this tunnel's already half collapsed already. So this grenade might finish the job. Do you want to, like I said though, do you want to set the grenade like where you first enter, or like in the middle, or like on the the exit, which is after 10 meters or so, it opens up into the maintenance tunnel, which looks a little bit like...
Yeah, I'll go for about halfway through.
Okay. So everybody else has crawled through, and Darius, you take the grenade out of your grenade launcher, and you set it for, I don't know, how many seconds do you set it for? We'll say it can go anywhere from like 0 to 10, maybe.
Can we tripwire it?
Yeah, sure. I'll give you an option. You can do that, or you can just set a timer. The timer will be the tripwire. We'll just let it.
I'm thinking like a standard grenade. It's got a handle. So as you say, this tunnel's half collapsed.
Yeah.
So I'll get a sort of a small rock and set that on top of the handle. Then pull the pin. So if anything comes scrambling over it, it should dislodge the rock.
That's right.
Set off the grenade.
Darius, make an observation check for me. Make it at, let's see, do you have your flashlight out doing this, or are you
I'll use my flashlight.
Okay, so you've got some light, so we won't give you a minus for that. So just make a straight up observation check for me. All right, that's pretty good. That will be, well, yeah, that'll be enough. So you push that, you put this grenade, you have a rock, that if, when the rock's pushed, it'll cause the grenade to go off, and you start crawling out, and you've done it just in time because another one of these xenomorphs is, not more than a couple meters behind you, coming down through the tunnel, crawling through this tunnel over and under this stuff. And you've noticed it in time to kind of like get out of there as fast as possible as the tunnel, explodes and dust flies out, and it collapses. And there's maybe a shriek of an alien, that's smashed in this tunnel as you come through. And now the 5 of you are now in this maintenance tunnel that runs parallel to the main train tunnel, and it's this picture maybe doesn't capture it quite, but it's wet in here. It's very drippy. A lot of the ground has like metal grates, and you can see that there's like a drainage, like sewer system underneath this maintenance tunnel. There's lots of pipes and electrical wires. And Brian, you pull out that map that you had taken from the Jeep, and you're like, well, this should go for about 1 kilometer, and then we'll reach the next station. That will take you that much closer. You guys are about here. And if you go along this tunnel for another kilometer or so, you should reach this underground station. That's the way you're going, I presume, right? Okay. I think given the circumstances, this is probably as close as you're going to get to feeling safe. If you guys wanted to banter or have as you're walking along, this might be a moment where you can relieve some stress.
I would like to have a chat with Darius. And because he's bringing up the rear, presumably there's enough width in this for us to move up and down. Because my suggestion would be that Noah goes at the front, because I know he's got sharp eyes. And then that allows me to drift back and have a, kind of one-on-one with Darius.
Yeah.
And
you can also reduce your stress level by 1. One of you can reduce your stress level by 1 due to my calming presence.
Oh, really?
As I gather my wits, I think in this case my calming presence is more just like I am clearly back in control of myself, and I think I even say to you, Brian, You were right, Brian. But you're still not getting the drug.
Okay, trust me on these things. I've been in this situation before. And I think, Darius, you can have that if you like, because I think your stress position is worse than mine.
Okay, so everybody lose a point of stress just for time passing, feeling fairly safe. So everybody loses 1 for that. And then Darius, you can lose another 1 for the calming presence. And then also, if you want to throw some banter out there at this point, everybody can lose another point of stress. But go ahead, Alan, and finish what you were saying to Darius.
Yeah, look, in the end, your walking pharmaceutical store there is just baggage. Sitka is just baggage. This is about us, because we're family, Darius. Okay? So, I'm there for you, you're there for me. Yeah?
True indeed, true indeed. But, I've gone through some heavy loss, brother. I've gone through some heavy loss. And I'll pull out these set of dog tags, and I'll say, these are hers. And I'll kiss them, and I'll say, this is all I've got left of her. And, this has been pretty. If we didn't have Noah driving that truck, we'd have been stood there, possibly hand to hand. So you're right. These others aren't combat troops like me and you, bro. But what we've gone through, the loss I've suffered, the loss of your sister, my wife. I don't want to lose anybody else. Not here, not on this planet. So if that means we have to drag these guys through, so be it. I agree with you. They are baggage a bit. They're not combat troops, but for your sister, for my wife, let's just get out of here and let's try and save whatever we can, even if it's not.
You really don't know what he's been doing, do you?
I know he's got drugs. And hey, I've partaken. What else has he been doing?
This is all about making you reliant, Darius, on him.
There's no way I'll become reliant on him. In fact, who's the one that took some stims? That was you, Brian. So who's reliant?
Darius, his gig is about dependency. He's not a friend, Darius.
Well, when I start overtaking you in the drug use, then you can talk to me. But until then, I want you to stow that, Brian. Stow it, man.
I will manipulate Darius.
What are you trying to? Let me get the exact wording of that, of how this works. If we go to skills and stunts, we go down to manipulate, to make another person see things your way. So you're trying, put it in the 1-sentence version, Alan. How are you trying to change his view?
I want him to realize that I'm looking out for him.
Okay.
Yeah.
In comparison to Noah?
In comparison to Noah. So if it's a choice, there's no question.
Okay. That sounds reasonable. And it sounds like, Darius, you're trying to resist this. Is that true?
That would be true.
Okay. So you each are going to make a manipulation roll. I think it's only fair. Noah, Will, do you feel like you want to put in any 2 cents in this? Do you hear this, or are you too far back or too far ahead to hear it? What do you think? You're out of it? Okay. So I think let's see.
This is what they mean by don't split the party, by the way, guys. Like metaphorically.
I think you're capturing. No, never mind. You've helped. I think we'll just make it a straight up roll. So each of you roll. Each of you. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I would like to make the case that I have helped Darius by dropping me into Field Marine.
Okay.
I've given him commands. That worked.
Let me look at it one more second then.
I mean, as the party being persecuted here, I do think that Alan did make his point very well, because there is definitely a small bit of truth in that.
Okay. All right. So I will say, utilitarianism wise, it would not help Darius to ostracize one of the members of his group. So I say I'll give you a -1 for that, but I'll give you the +2 for those other things. So yeah, we'll give you a +1, Bryant. So you roll a +1, and Darius, you roll at 0 on manipulation. We have an opposed check. All right. So you both have panic. So let's do that first. Everybody, both of you roll a panic check. 10 for Bryant. -2 is 8. And Darius gets a 9. So 8, in the midst of this conversation, Alan, you start to tremble. All your skill rolls using agility will be at -2 for the next turn, unless somebody calms you down. Agility -2 for Bryant. And Darius, you drop something, whether by stress, confusion, or the realization that you're all going to die anyway. You drop a weapon or other important item. Your stress level increases by 1. So, go ahead.
I do need to. If this isn't where I stop panic, I don't know what that is for.
Yeah. Your own panic, or I guess it wouldn't.
What it says is when another character makes a panic roll and loses control,
yeah,
you can make a command roll to return them to their senses.
Okay. So yeah, so let's go back to the manipulation roll and see how that worked out. So Bryant got 3 successes. Darius got 2. So the person being manipulated subtracts their successes from the manipulator. So Bryant, you end up with 1 extra success, which is all you need. So Darius, you have been convinced that Bryant is higher up in your eye than is Noah now. If push comes to shove, you know who's going to get left behind.
Okay, mechanically, I'm going to resolve that by adding Noah as a rival.
Okay. Go ahead. And Alan, go ahead and change yours to Noah.
Suddenly everyone hates Noah.
Yeah.
Right. Wow.
Bryant, this what you're doing, maybe the emotional, the real is maybe in the back of your brain you realize the nefarious thing you're doing here. So you start to tremble.
It's not in the back of my brain.
Sure. And Darius, you see Darius, he's like, maybe you're like, yeah, okay. You see it working on him, but he seems really troubled by it. And so yeah, before he drops and forgets something, from just being distracted, go ahead and make a command roll to see if you can take away this panic effect. That sounds reasonable. I'm sure you'll just panic again anyways. No, nothing at all. So you can push if you want to try to calm him down.
I am going to push because I do not want him to drop anything.
Okay. Add a stress and re-roll all the dice. Okay. So you do calm him down. He was in the midst. I don't know what would you have even dropped? Who knows? Maybe like the motion tracker was going to fall off. The strap was going to like fall to the ground and be lost. Down into the sewer. A hole in the sewer grate would have fallen down and shorted out.
Can I suggest that
Sure.
That he's lent his pulse rifle on the side of the tunnel while we're having this conversation, and he's about to walk
Yeah, I think
away.
I was pulling out the dog tags.
That's true. Maybe the dog tags. Yeah.
Marine. Don't forget that.
Right. And Darius, you were interacting with your signature item, weren't you?
I was, and
Yeah.
I would like to activate banter for everyone.
Okay. What's that look like or sound
Well,
like?
we already removed one just for some time spent out of combat, so that will add another one to that. So everybody gets to remove another stress point.
Okay. And what's the banter sound? What do you do to banter?
Well, I think as we're moving down this corridor, a bit of hi ho, it's off we go.
All right. That sounds good. So everybody loses a stress point for that. Darius, if you haven't already, lose a stress point for interacting with your signature item. And if there's nothing else,
Who wants to take the calming presence of Noah, or who did? One. It's only one person gets to take it.
did you take that, Paul?
I think I handed that to Darius. I think.
Cool.
So if you
You
haven't,
are muted, Paul. You're talking away.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah, I took that before Bryant told me you were an evil weasel.
okay. So after all of this, what's everyone's stress at? Just so I put that in my brain. 4 for Noah, 4 for Bryant, 3 for Darius. Well, that's not great, but not bad. Enough to keep you on your toes. And in cinematic style, of course, you've reached your destination now. And Kyoko says, the tunnel ends here. There's another connection, another connecting tunnel. Bryant, is this where the station should be? And Bryant, indeed, you do feel that this is probably where that station should be. So this main maintenance tunnel just stops. But there's a little, same as that one that Darius exploded, there's another little connecting tunnel that should lead out to where there should be a underground, a landing, one of those landings that allows you to go up a ramp and outside. You guys want to go down this little connector? And who's leading the way?
Well, I didn't we say that Noah had the sharpest eyes, so we put him at the front. The only reason we put him at the front, but obviously that's the reason.
Sure.
Noah like grips a shotgun tight and goes like, "All right, but only because you guys can probably shoot. We're the only ones who are going to be able to shoot past me."
I've got you covered.
Yeah. Noah is, however, as he goes to the tunnel, is going to reach into his pocket and pull out a drug. But what he's going to stab himself with is actually one of the X drugs.
Oh, okay.
+1 agility for 1 shift.
Okay.
No, +1 strength, I'll say, for 1 shift, actually.
Okay. Let's see. Noah, +1 strength, X drug, 1 shift. Okay. And Bryant, if you were to get one of these X drugs to raise your strength, that would solve your encumbrance problem too.
I mean, these are open to anybody who wants them at any time. Feel free. Even the ones who are conspiring against me.
Who's bringing up the rear? Who's in the back of this little tunnel as you guys move through?
Yeah, I'm more than happy to bring up the rear.
Okay.
I placed that grenade, so yeah, I think it makes sort of sense.
Sure. So you guys move through and you come out into, the main tunnel, and there is indeed a landing here, and you see the ramp that goes up to the surface. And it's quiet. Move up there. I'm sorry.
Could there be another Jeep up there?
Could be. You do. I mean, Bryant, looking at your map, you see that this tunnel from this station, it is if you stay underground, it goes straight for about 5 kilometers, and then it should reach the base. Or you can go upstairs and go through the forest. It's up to you guys how you want to progress from this point.
Well, I think we're better off down here than up there, because up there are wild animals as well as whatever it is we've just found.
What if the tunnel's blocked again and we can't get through this time? We won't have a Jeep. We're going to be on foot.
I'd still say underground is a tactically safer place to be. At least they only come at you from one of 2 directions.
You're the boss, Darius.
Yeah, let's stay underground.
We should keep an eye out for like maybe there's some way, you know, like a comms panel down there or something. Like if we can get in touch with the Providence, we know we can. I don't know. Maybe they can send someone down to pick us up. You know.
Yeah, well, I mean, if we carry on underground, we'll soon hit a four-way junction where. We're just at the U. Are we north of the Zone 1 on the map?
That's right. Remember these green lines; those are roads on the surface.
Oh, they're roads on the surface.
Yeah, so there is no junction. From this point on, it looks like from Brian's map that underground, this is a straight shot due east for about 5 kilometers. You should hit the base, you know, the underground entrance into the base from there.
I think let's stay underground and push on five clicks.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Okay.
Sounds like there's a consensus. So let's take a moment, though, to kind of assess the situation of your mind and body. You guys have all been awake now for about almost a full day. You're approaching, you're not quite there yet, but just to kind of lay that out, you know, foreshadowing, you're reaching a point of where exhaustion will start to have an effect on you. So somewhere in the future, if you want to avoid that, you have options. You could, if you find some coffee, you can drink a pot of coffee. You can take a never sleep pill, which will delay the effects of exhaustion. I think it's for another full day. You can, you're not there yet, but keep this in mind. Or you can sleep. You can find somewhere to lay down and sleep for a shift. So there's that. And like I said, you have a few more hours before that'll happen, but that's coming. However, you haven't eaten or drinking much for quite a while now. So I'm going to have everybody make a food and water roll. So on your character sheet down in the bottom left, there's your consumables. I think everybody's carrying food and water. Maybe not Noah, though. Noah, did you grab food and water? No.
I remember it being part of that whole layout there. I think I've lost it. I didn't remember to actually mark it on my the consumables value. So.
If you intended to carry food and water, yeah, go ahead and put 2 in each of those spots. There you go. And
I imagine that like those lockers had like a backpack or something, and we've all been stocked up in that sort of
thing. You make one food roll and one water roll?
That's right. And for each facehugger you get, you reduce your food and water supply by 1.
Okay. I reduced mine by 1.
Okay.
Don't eat it all at once, Noah.
And Kyoko helps Sika is like I said, she's like mumbling and she's like half ambulatory. She's clearly going some sort of feverish talking, dreaming that she's going through. So Kyoko gives her some water and she drinks it, and she tries to have her eat something, but she can't really do that. But she's trying to take care of Sitka as you're going through this. All right, so everybody took care of food and water. Now the next thing is air. So everybody make a stamina check for me. Just click that stamina button.
This is the one that Brian has been not looking forward to.
All right, everybody succeeded. So you've been out, the lights, like the green lights of this tunnel are kind of like wobbly and kind of like you realize that you're hallucinating a little bit. And Noah, and on your travel here, you had checked the files and you know that the air lacks some sort of chemical and that over time a human brain will start to sort of fall apart in this atmosphere. You guys are holding it together right now, but at this point you've been out long enough that's going to be a factor at this point. Do you wish to put your respirators on at this point or just go it without?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Okay. So everybody that's putting on a respirator, it's going to last for a couple hours, but let's get a air roll. So you should have an air consumable power supply or consumable also. All right, nobody lost any air. So you're walking along now down this tunnel. You've got your respirators on. It's probably just a simple little mask and maybe like with like little like air like cylinders on each side of it. Should last for quite a few hours. It's pretty sophisticated. You walk down this tunnel. Like I said, it's about 5 kilometers. With your situation, with lugging Sitka along, it's probably going to take about an hour, hour and a half. And luckily, it's very quiet the whole way. Well, at least until again, Bryant, get out like a little. Darius gets his flashlight out every once in a while and kind of shows you. You guys look at the map, making sure what's coming, where you're at, and you got your watch too. That kind of gives you a sense of like how much you've traveled from point A to point B, and which direction you're moving. And you get to a point where there's about 50 meters ahead of you. There's a hole in this dome ceiling of the tunnel, and it's probably about 5 or 6 meters roughly circular hole, and there's a rubble that's dropped down. It's not blocking the tunnel, but a bunch of rubble has fallen to the ground. It's about 8-10 meters high, and there's water is pouring through, and like rain. It's clearly it's raining outside. There's a steady stream of rain coming down, but otherwise, you figure you're probably about half a kilometer from the base at this point, and you see this hole in the roof.
I think there's a kind of
Sure.
checking it out.
You guys check it out, moving by or little.
I'd like to actually activate my motion tracker.
Sure. Make up
At least for a turn. While this looks like quite a nasty area, so I think the motion tracker should help.
right. Go ahead and make a power supply roll for the motion tracker. And if you got a face hugger, just take away a point of power. And Bryant, you sounds like you're like recon in this, so go ahead and make an observation check. Are you guys using your lights at this point, or are you moving dark? Without light.
I think lights, right? Like we need to see really more than anything.
Did you say it was light outside?
No, it's dark out.
Dark out.
It's middle of the night out. Brian again. He has his watch that tells him how much time has passed. It's about.
I hope that sound isn't actually happening, Alan, because we're about to get murdered.
We'll get back to that. It's about 2 a.m. in Earth time. So it's the middle of the night. Bryant, make a. So we'll say Darius, you got your flashlight.
Yeah, I think flashlights then, because what we've seen in these creatures, they've not actually got eyes.
Right.
So I don't think it'll make any difference.
Right. So Bryant, make an observation check straight up then. All right, there's that panic. So go ahead and roll that first. 9 minus 2 is 7, so that's nervous twitch. So your stress level increases by 1. I'll say the others aren't right next to you, so we won't have a cascade on this one. So just Bryant, you gain a stress because you start to twitch, because you see that some of that rain pouring down is big, like a big glob of slime. This xenomorph slime is stuck on the wall, kind of running down, dripping, and you see that, and it's on the floor, and you see that this slime, this wide mass of slime, there's bits and pieces of it as it seems to be a trail going farther down this tunnel towards the base. And Darius, and in addition, you start to twitch because Darius, you're getting a signal. You got that thump, thump, ping, ping, and it's at the very extreme edge. Again, down the tunnel to the east. Probably several hundred meters at least. Exactly. It's moving. It's moving about a little bit, but not towards you. It seems to be staying in that same area that you're picking up this signal.
Lock and load. And I'll start making sort of marine hand signals now to Brian. You know,
that is the opposite way to the way we want to go, though, isn't it?
No, that is the way you want to go.
No.
It's
Oh.
if we do I have you guys on this map?
No, we're on the tunnel.
All right, let me take you back to the map.
so it's just a single thing on the handheld.
Yep, just a single blip. You guys are about here, and the signal's coming from back where the base, towards the base.
Towards the comm dish. Okay, well, we have to go through it.
Mm-hmm.
If it's heading the same direction we're heading, just don't attract its attention this way.
I'm sure at some stage it will return, but yeah, hand signal, 1.
Okay. Do you keep your light on, or you want to turn it off?
I'm going to turn it off now. Now that I've got the motion tracker activated.
Okay.
Have we got any ambient light in this tunnel? Are there?
About every 50 meters or so, there's one of those little green, like battery powered lights on the side of the tunnel that we see on our picture here. So every 40, 50 meters, there's one of these. Some of them start to burn out, though. Maybe the batteries are running out.
So if we're advancing, I imagine Noah's probably not going to be in the front anymore if we know that there's we've got the motion sensor, right? I can't just walk in front of the motion sensor, really. But I could hold on to a flare and my shotgun, perhaps, so that like if something kicks off, I can just light up the whole thing.
Sure.
I just wanted to get that so I don't have to spend an action then doing it,
Good idea. And while we're on that, so Bryant, the tunnel's wide, so you certainly can deploy, you don't have to go single file, but roughly how are you guys advancing? What's it look like? Darius, Paul, why don't you tell us how you guys are deployed?
Is it wide enough for 2 people or just single person? Because we're in the main tunnel now, aren't we?
Yeah, you're in the main tunnel. It's a good 10 meters or so across. I mean, you could deploy any way you want.
Yeah, so I think me and Brian at the front, Kyoto with Sidka, and then Noah bringing up the rear.
Okay. So you got that motion tracker out, you got that steady signal, steady and clear, and you're moving forward, and you move about, we'll say about 100 meters or so, and it comes around a little bit. No, I said it was straight, so it's straight. So you move far enough to you can see something is lit up, and you can see that there are several of these sort of low energy lights that are kind of like ringing these massive steel doors. Brian's like, that should be the station, and there's these massive steel double doors that are closed, and you see something, and you probably hear it, a little bit before you actually see it. You hear this thing slamming into these doors. Bam! And it backs up a little bit. Bam! And Paul, I don't know if this is at all close to what you're imagining, but this is what I imagine as a xenomorph slig. So it's as big as a first-story house. It's about 10 meters long, about 5 or 6 meters high. It's mostly jellyish cilia. It's got pseudopods in the front that kind of project out and have like arms and claws. It's got that long. It has this head. Doesn't have that cylindrical xenomorph shape necessarily, but the face in the front does. It has like this projecting mouth that comes out every once in a while, and it's covered with this. It's even more than usual. It's covered with this mucousy slime, and it seems to move along not too quickly, but though it seems to have a lot of these cilia and these small pseudopods that kind of move it along. And it's just bang, bang, bang into this door over and over again as you guys advance. It doesn't seem to see you. And like I said, you're probably a good 80 or 90 meters away at this point.
That's one ugly motherfucker.
Is it? I think I might fire up the binoculars and try to get a feel for whether it's having an impact.
Okay. I'll just give you that for free. You load up the binoculars, and there's enough, of that light there that your binoculars don't have to use, night vision. You can just kind of use the telescoping effect of the binoculars, and you can see it seems to be creating some dents, but not very significant. You would estimate that this door is probably not going to collapse anytime soon, but it just keeps going at it. It's tenacious.
I'm going to just read back off, because we can't get past it. It doesn't seem to be having much success. So I think we're screwed.
And you do see that there is, like, of course it doesn't know about it, but there's like a panel to the side, with a keypad or whatever. There would be some electronic way of opening the door, likely.
So we could still get through the door.
You could, but like Bryant was saying, there's something in between you and that door.
But how the hell do we get past this?
Are there any cables running from that panel to us?
Maybe if somebody wants to start to like dig into the wires on the side of the tunnel and try to figure out, like, black wire goes the red wire, and that start to actually like dig into the wires and start to do that. Sure, we can make a roll if you guys want to do that.
Sure.
Comtech.
Okay. Yeah. So while this is going to take a few minutes for Noah to start to dig through the wires, and what's your goal here? Is to like trip the door from here rather than having to approach? Is that what you're aiming to do? Okay.
Are we, so that's going to open the door.
No.
I'm sorry.
I don't think we should open the door for this thing to get through. I was thinking more rigging some kind of if it's wet, we could try and electrocute it.
I hadn't thought of that.
Set up some sort of
pull a high voltage cable off and sort of like put it in its tracks.
Like a heavy machinery
acid thing. It should naturally, whatever cover that is covering the cable, it may burn through, or we could expose it. We could possibly fry it. I love the smell of slig in the morning.
So
that's
you're
not a bad idea.
So you want to create some sort of electrical trap here, draw it to the trap, and try to like fry it.
Yeah, Alan,
Okay.
Could you note that down? Paul had a good idea. No point talking to him for the rest of the year. It's spent.
Okay.
I have a small bet with myself that heavy machinery has nothing in it for any of us.
Nope, I have nothing in heavy machinery. It would be the strongest character would be the best character then.
Yeah, I think it's a good plan. It will require 2 rolls. It's going to require heavy machinery to set up like some sort of my limited engineering knowledge will come to the fore here. Some sort of like metal or water, a combination of like a kill zone, right? And then the Comtech roll to actually get the wires just right to set up the electrical aspect of the whole thing, and to set it up in a way that, do you want it to be able to trigger this from afar, or is it a thing where once it hits this, it'll automatically electrocute it? What do you imagine, Paul? Or do you want to like have Noah standing 50 meters away with like 2 wires, and once he hits it, it goes. Bleh. What do you picture?
That's pretty cute having Noah sort of like, well, yeah, maybe further down the corridor there is one of those old-fashioned, because you said the tech is really sort of quite old-fashioned unless you're super, super, super rich. Now, while Wayland Yutani's rich, I can't see him going for the world's greatest sort of reason to spend it on a Switch. So yeah, I think an old, it's alive,
right?
Type of Switch. Yeah, further down the corridor. So I fully get the heavy machinery in the Comtech. I think that's good.
Okay, so I like that too. That's even more dramatic to have a switch box, so he's like isolates this section of the power, and he can flip it on or off, with this switch box.
Yeah, so while he switched it off, that gives me and Bryant time to sort of like pull these things off the wall, this cabling, and sort of wrap it round. Yeah.
Okay, great.
Well, if we could contact the rails, because rails run up this, and it is given its size, it's touching those
That's true.
rails.
So
So a negative and a positive on one rail each, and as long as it's bridging it, up it goes.
Don't get technical.
okay. Yeah. So now you're not going to set up a trap, so to speak. You're going to set it up so that the electrical charge goes right down the lines and hits it right in front of this door. All right.
Because that means as long as we steer clear of those lines and of any puddles, we're okay.
Right. Okay. That sounds, it probably makes absolutely no sense in the real world, but it'll work perfect in this movie. So if you make the rolls.
Yeah. Now, heavy machinery. I don't think any of us are at all skilled in it. But what stat is it based on?
It's based on strength. Before we do this, I think your walk here, drinking some water, eating some food, everybody lose a point of stress. We'll say you relaxed a little bit. So take a point of stress off. Well, retroactively, I think that would have been made some sense as you're making your way here. So before we get into this whole thing,
if there was a moment when we pause just to rest and eat something,
sure.
I think that at a point where I can just sit with my back against the wall next to Sitka, and I know she can't hear, or she probably can't hear, but I just say, so much for being an ace fucking pilot. and I tap my ICC commercial flight officer license. So I'd like to use my signature item to reduce stress by another one.
Perfect. Okay. Let's take another 5-minute break, and then we will see how this Mission Impossible works out. See you guys in 5. You got the big doors behind you now, Alan. And what do you got, Paul? Looks like a tunnel.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, you've done such preparation for this. I feel really sad that the viewers don't get to see everything we get to see.
Yeah, I was thinking, I mean, I could do it if I put Roll20 on the same computer, you know, that we're using for StreamYard. But I decided it's easier for me just to be able to look over here and see everything. My other computer doesn't have a video camera, so I can't do both. There actually is a video and audio component to Roll20. You can use it. We could just use Roll20 to do everything. But from what I hear, it doesn't work all that well. And I don't think it can stream to YouTube, you know, the same way StreamYard does. So,
No.
So everyone can just...
It always runs into trouble in my experience, always.
Yeah. Okay, so it's a montage of you guys pulling wires and unhooking, you know, clamps and pulling wires over to the train track and setting that all up. Noah's digging into all these wires. He's trying to figure out the switch box and all of that.
Can we have Noah with some sort of like welding glasses, keep pulling them off and on?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe I'll remove my top and carry some sort of large girder for some unknown reason across the camera.
Right. And
all quietly,
yeah. This thing doesn't, I mean, it is persistently just slam. You guys, yes, you're quiet about it. And you are, like I said, you're a little bit away. And then the switch box is even farther back. Like we said, it's another 50 meters or so down the tunnel away from all of this. So the plan is that you're going to, now, I think the dramatic way of doing this is we won't do the dice rolls until you've triggered the trap to find out whether it works or not, right? So how are you going to draw this thing? Oh, I guess you don't need to draw it. You're just going to do it. That's right. That's right. Okay, so where's everybody? You know, the moment comes to hit the switch. Where's everybody situated when this moment happens?
On the switch, I imagine.
Yeah, Noah's at the switch.
Yeah, good old Noah. Many of these pipes will be insulated, won't they? So Bryant will find the lowest insulated pipe and pull himself up onto it.
Okay, so you're kind of hanging on the wall a little bit. And Darius, where do you imagine you're at?
Clearly not anywhere near the track, but no, I'd like to, as soon as we think we're ready and we give Noah the signal, I'll have my pulse rifle aimed squarely at the slig.
Okay. So maybe you're a little bit down the track towards, you know,
lead from the front.
Okay. And then we'll say Sika and Kyoko are kind of sitting, you know, Sika's propped up against the wall near to the switch. Kyoko's kind of standing guard over her. All right. So let's first do for each of these roles, one of you guys is going to lead it, and we'll say the other two are assisting. So who was leading the way on the heavy machinery? Maybe Darius. It sounded like you were doing the heavy lifting. So I think you're the strongest also. So let's do that.
You want to take some drugs to be even better at that, Darius.
That's true. He's got these X drugs that'll give you more strength.
You're muted, Paul.
You are muted.
No, I'm okay on the drug front.
Okay.
Cool. I kind of imagine these as like combat stims. You know what I mean? Like
right. Exactly. They give you functionally or mechanically, they give you either a point of strength or a point of agility for a shift, which is 5 to 10 hours. You can only take one. If you try to take another one, your heart will blow up. So that's how that works. Then there's nap relief. If anybody wants to take nap relief, that will take away all your stress, which is, you know, a double-edged sword.
I probably will take a never sleep though at this stage.
Yeah, let's take, that's a good time. This is probably, let's get that on the table. So we'll say you guys have reached that exhaustion moment, you know, after your montage of all of this work, you know, you're definitely feeling worn out. So anybody else want to take a never sleep?
Never sleeps all around.
Okay. So whoever's got those, take them if you got them.
I've taken it off my tiny items list.
Okay. It does give you.
I don't have one.
You don't have any?
I'm-
I think you. I think
may-
you do, Bryant. If you look at your character sheet, Alan, I think I saw them on there. Yeah, right at the very bottom line, you've got 2 of them.
Oh yeah, that was it. There were 2 of them, weren't they? Sorry.
Yeah,
And
I think everybody
I
got
said you guys take them.
It does give you a point of stress, though. It does make you jittery. So everybody that took one, which sounds like everybody, add a point of stress. All right. Let me make a note that all 3 took Never Sleep.
If we're not off this planet in 24 hours, we're dead anyways, I think.
Maybe. Okay. I think we're ready. So, Paul, you are going to make a heavy machinery roll, and you get to add 2 extra dice for the other 2 guys helping.
So the modifier is 2. Here we go.
Let me, before you roll, so let me lay it out. So you're there, ready. Bryant's like tucked into some pipes along the wall, and we see Noah, pull down on this switch. Now make the roll.
Okay, so modifier 2. Let's have a look.
All right.
Yes.
Beautiful. That's more than enough. That part's good. And I think whoever's best at Comtech led the way on getting the wiring set up. Is that you, Noah? Same deal. You're going to make a Comtech roll with 2 extra dice.
I'd like to push, please.
Yeah. Now, the other option is you could use your story point to give yourself a success.
Hey, you know what? I'll use my story point. I don't want to panic down here. I want to, let's just use my story point.
Okay.
And get it done.
So yeah, you just unclick that on your character sheet. And so that gives you that success. And Darius, you're probably the only one that has a real good view of this because you're a little bit ahead. So of course, this electricity is sparkling blue, going, down. It progresses. I mean, again, engineering wise, it probably doesn't work this way whatsoever, but it progresses down these train tracks, zzz, hits this thing, and blue electricity just illuminates this whole creature. It's electricity is running all over its body, and it just sort of like starts to kind of like sizzle, and it starts to melt, and then it just explodes. Slig guts all over the place.
Barbecue slig. Better get some.
And acid.
And acid. Oh yeah. And the acid starts to burn into the walls and into this door a little bit. And then, after, and of course that creates this noxious gas. The smell starts to, roll down the tunnel towards you guys. And
secure that shit, Noah. It's done. It's done. Cut the power. Cut the power.
Right. You cut the power, and there's the humming, the buzzing stops, and there you are. You've got an empty tunnel in front of you. The acid stops burning after as you approach, a minute or so later. The acid's all done. It oxidizes fairly quickly. It's made a mess of this tunnel though, but it has not eaten through the door. This door is tough. And miraculously, the little panel on the side is still
it's glass, isn't it? And glass isn't too affected by acid. So yeah,
exactly.
Well, I'd like to get Kyoto up here because hopefully her handprint can open that door.
It doesn't actually have a sensor like that. It's a keypad. You have to put in a code, and she says, "I'm sorry, I haven't been provided with any of the codes outside of the chateau. Your guess is as good as mine."
She's about as much use as a chocolate fire guard. Okay, Noah.
Jeez. Okay. What would you guys do without me?
All right. So this is another Comtech roll.
Point, there is a significant glance passes between Darius and Bryant.
This is a difficult. The coding on this is very sophisticated. So it's going to be at -2, but I do believe, Noah, if I remember correctly, you're carrying that hacking device.
Yes, which is
Like,
+2, in fact,
which-
even to it.
So you're rolling even up. We'll say Kyoko's helping you a little bit. She's like, well, this is how Weyland-Yutani does their coding. Try this, try that. So give yourself an extra die for her helping you. So you're rolling with a +1 modifier on a Comtech roll.
Boom, 2 stunts.
Boom, you got it. So this door slides open. You guys step gingerly around the pools of Slig. And you have entered now into the Weyland-Yutani base. Let me get a map for that up. I know that's not it, but I'm just trying to get to the one I need. Here we go. Okay. And let me get my little token copied over. Okay, you guys see your little token. You're coming through these doors into the garage. The garage is a large open area. It's dark in here. Actually, I should have had you have to make a power. You guys had to take one of your power supplies to power up the door to open it. So if somebody makes a power roll for me off of one of your pieces of equipment, Alan, you got it?
I'll do that.
Okay. Okay, so your power supply is fine. So you use your power supply to get this door to open. It slides open, and it's completely dark in here. There's no power whatsoever. Imagine, Darius, you pull your flashlight out, and you shine it around, and you see that it's a large open garage / mechanical workshop, and there's benches. There's lots of these trucks and Jeeps here. Most of them are sort of up on jacks and, in the process of being worked on, clearly. There are several intact ones here. There is a door. Oh, there's quite a few doors, actually. There's a big, garage door. There's 2 of them. There's one to the south that kind of goes outside, and there's one to the east that goes into the animal veterinary section. And then to the north, there's a door that leads into the mechanical section. And they're especially, let me back up. The door that goes into mechanical is blasted open. It's smashed open. Looks like explosives. There's that northern section of this garage. Everything's smashed and blown up. It looks like there was a battle there, and you see those now familiar signs of that acid burns, small arms fire, grenades seem to have been used there. There's some sort of battle. There's several pools of blood, splatter of blood on the wall.
Of course, however, there are no bodies because it's aliens.
No bodies.
Just a question in that it sounds as though that explosion that's blown open the doors to mechanical could very well have been part of this firefight rather than someone blowing them open with a detonation charge or something.
Right. It looks like a part of the chaotic battle that happened here.
Okay, cool. So I was like, oh shit, humans now. We've got to deal with humans as well.
Right.
Well, what's the plan, guys? If we get to the comms tower through there, we could send a message.
Send a message to who?
The Providence.
Yeah, why don't we actually just have a look in the hangar and see if there's an aircraft in there, an orbital craft?
Because we came down on a shuttle that landed out there.
Yep. Yeah, I guess.
We've got a pilot. Brian can pilot.
Look down at Sitka and then I look up at Brian and I go okay. Well, okay. Well, what's the plan then? Out the doors?
Yeah. No matter what, we're always going to have to go outside. So I don't think now's a bad time.
Shall I take a peek out through the garage doors then?
Yeah. Although I'm interested, can we actually hear anything coming from the animal holding and care area at all?
I'm gonna go over there and listen at the door.
Yeah.
Old school D&D style.
Yeah.
Sure. Meanwhile, while he does that, what are you other two guys doing?
Are there
Cover
any
the
windows?
hole.
I'm sorry, Alan. What were you doing?
Is there any sometimes in these big kind of what I imagine to be kind of big roller doors that go into garages, sometimes there's a window, so you know what's outside or inside when you move the door. So I think I'm going to look outside if that's an option.
Sure.
Without opening the door.
Okay, that sounds good. And there's like a button. Again, you'd have to power it up, but there's a button there, to raise the door if you decide to do that. Noah, what do you think you're doing?
If Bryant's going to the south door and Darius is going over to the east, is that right?
Yeah.
Like Darius, I will, like poke the shotgun towards the blown doors to mechanical, just to sort of see if there's anything through that way.
Okay. All right. And then Sika kind of like, stumbles in with, Kyoko kind of stumbles in, leading Sitka, and they kind of sit down and again try to rest and care for her while you guys do this. Let's start with Noah. So you can see, actually you probably can't see a lot because it is completely dark.
Even if I put my flashlight on,
okay. So you click on your flashlight and you see the battle that clearly happened on the north side of this room. That was minor compared to the battle that must have happened in the mechanical section. And actually there's probably a little bit of moonlight coming through, because you can see into the mechanical section. And let me expose something here. You get that red thing that should be on your map now is a big hole where it looks like something is blasted / burned through. There's a jagged hole, big hole in the wall. And there's one of these sligs is lying half into mechanical, kind of through that hole. And it has all kinds of like gunshots and explosions on it. Its skin is all messed, but it also has like all kinds of bites in it. And you can see it's like deflated, like a slug that's all the juices flowed out. And you can see that most of this hole was opened up by this acid, clearly. And there are, twice as many acid burns, blood pools, explosive damage. You can see a lot of the mechanical stuff in here. There's all kinds of big pipes and wires and conduits and terminals. Almost all of it is destroyed.
Okay, and then I guess there's the big structure of the atmosphere processor behind it with the comms dish on top of it. It's
actually, you can't see it. You're still inside, but there is a door. There's a door. Yeah, there's a door to the north that's blasted open, and you can see it runs.
I just meant to say that more that like this is a room, right? This is a big room, but the building beyond is a large structure as opposed to another room kind of thing. Like it's not like I can just pop through there and be like atmosphere processor done and dusted. But I will back towards the room and I'll just be like, they came straight through the fucking walls.
I will tell you though that the door, the hole that's been blasted in the north wall that leads into the atmosphere processor, you can see that there is light inside the atmosphere processor. The lights are on in there. And you can hear, especially now that you're closer, you can feel that hum of the machinery of this fusion generator, is still functioning.
Okay, so if we did need to get comms out, it might still be active over there, but it's clearly shit's gone down that way. Cool, I'm sweet.
Okay, and Alan, so you were looking out the door into the outside and the little window, the little garage door window, and you see that there's like a road outside and there's a path, and you can see there's a Jeep there, like maybe a couple meters outside the door, that's all burned out. And you can see there's like a dead corpse, all, a crispy corpse sitting at the wheel of this Jeep that's exploded and burned out. What else could you see from there? Maybe you can kind of peek over and see that this battle clearly had gone into the administration center. You can see the door there is all blasted out. That glass elevator that you guys rode up onto the ceiling, onto the roof of administration, it's all smashed. The glass is all smashed and blown up. Clearly the battle had continued out into this courtyard also. The big steel doors, though, that would lead, to the outside, they're still intact. The wall and the doors there are still intact.
And I'm guessing that does the moonlight, such as it is, and does my view give me any angle on that landing pad?
No, not from here. And then Paul or Darius, make a No, you don't need to make a check. Never mind. You don't hear anything. You listen, you get your ear up to the door, and you don't hear anything at all. You're muted. You're muted, Paul.
I will tell all the others that basically I don't think there's anything animal holding left. So, if we want to seal that door behind us, we've got multiple ways out of here. And I'll ask them what they've discovered.
Yep, everything I know.
Okay.
Blown hole,
Like what?
big fight. We run across to the hangar.
I think we try for the hangar.
Yeah. Now, clearly, we know some of these. These there's those little flying fuckers. So, I'd like to see as we go out, one person covering Ford's, and either myself or Brian covering the sky. I definitely think that's an attack vector.
Yeah. Maybe we go through animal holding and care and go out through that far door if it is actually empty.
Yeah, let's open the internal garage door between the garage and animal holding and care slowly.
Okay.
Probably somebody at sort of ground level, down on the belt buckles.
I'll cover the door.
And are you guys trying to move quickly or quietly? And you can't do both. You have one or the other.
Quietly, I think, in this case, right? It's quickly when we get out of here, quietly when we move through.
Yeah.
Holding.
Okay.
Quietly at the moment.
All right. So somebody else make a power roll. You don't need to use Comtech to open this door, but you do need some power to open up this garage door, this internal garage door that leads into the animal holding area.
I'll go again.
Okay. So this door rises up, and you have your flashlights, waving around, and you can see this is an open area. There's all kinds of veterinary tools and equipment and cabinets. There's a lot of veterinary, really large tables, for examining and taking care of different animals. There are lining the walls. There are quite a few cages that are all empty. It is quiet in here. Kind of as you're moving along towards that door, you see that there are three cells with steel doors that have little Comtech panels to the side. But on the little corridor that leads to that door going out off to your left, there's these three cells that are closed down. And they've got holding cell 1, animal holding cell 1, animal holding cell 2, printed on the wall.
Bryant is ignoring them.
Okay. Oh, it goes over to the panel to see if he can. It's all powered off, though, isn't it, at the moment?
It is, yes.
I don't have anything to power it up with. I will. It's what do you think they had here? Okay, Brian, come on. Let me use it. Let me use the power pack for a second.
Who gives a fuck?
I mean,
you could indulge your veterinarian interests at some other time.
Spits and we'll move on.
Okay.
Come on, folks. Let's stay on mission here.
Okay. You can open the door. The door has like a mechanical way of like tripping the door to open it. You don't have to power it up. So you pull a latch or whatever, and that door opens up, and it there's a, like I said, like a here. There's like asphalt. There's like an asphalt road that leads out to the landing zone. There's a asphalt road that leads down to like the hangar, or maybe like a road that goes down in that direction. And it's probably, let's see, I do have a scale. It's probably, your aim is to move to the landing zone. You can tell from here, maybe there's like some emergency lights ringing around this landing zone, like that illuminated a little bit, and you can see that it's empty. There's no craft on the landing zone. There are several more burned out or like overturned trucks out in this field. Even one still kind of like, smoldering and flickering flames that are still kind of coming off one of these, one of the larger trucks. And it looks like it'd be about 200 meters or so from here to the hangar. Is that where you guys were going?
That's where somebody needs to go.
Yeah, I definitely want to go to the hangar.
Okay.
My question is whether we all need to expose ourselves out there, or whether someone needs to get to the hangar and then call us over with a flashlight signal or something.
Do you cover us, Brian? Me and Darius will go and scout it out.
And I look at Darius and say, I think this is a one-man job, Darius.
I'll agree with you, and I'll say, clearly not a job for a civilian. I'll do it.
Shit.
I will significantly raise my eyebrow.
Okay, give me cover. Especially keep an eye on the sky. If anything
Well,
comes,
hoorah.
because I'm going to move at speed over there. So
Okay.
You guys give me cover, and with that, I'll go.
Okay.
And I chase him.
Okay. So Noah, Kyoko kind of looks at you like, what do we do?
Raise the shotgun.
Okay.
No, I don't raise the shotgun. I think I just swear and run after them, grabbing hold of Sitka with Kyoko. Like we're both sort of like running across with holding her between us.
Right. Okay. So,
probably quite a distance behind these two guys sprinting across. Like,
right. Yeah, there's probably like 20, 30 meters between Darius and Bryant, and then a widening gap between, Bryant and the other three that are coming along as you guys move across this field. And it sounds like you're moving, like running, sprinting. I mean, just going for it. All right. You run out into the rain, this pouring rain, this really hot and humid weather. Very little wind though, just like a sheet of rain just falling down nonstop. And like I said, there's several vehicles that are burned out as you go across. Some are smoldering, probably not a lot of flames given the rain. And you move along, and miraculously, you go by several like pools of blood that are probably like, getting dissipated by the rain. You see like one of those flying fuckers, as you put it. One of the bodies is lying there. You run past that. It's, all shot up and blown up. One of these nasty xenomorph flyers. And they look like that picture that Jamie provided for us of the flyers, but it's a little bigger. It's all black. It's got, hard carapace in certain spots. It's got like 4 long spindly legs that have additional little like bat wing flaps that help it fly through the air, but it mostly has this crazy mouth that it uses to fly along. But anyways, it's dead. And miraculously, you all make it across this field to the hangar. The hangar is closed. Let me get back. One moment. The hangar is closed, and It has, like a big garage door, especially big for a hangar, and it has there's like a tractor, like a a, a, a main what do they call them? An all-purpose mover tractor, like for pulling things around. That's outside the door, and it's all burned out and blown up. It's totally trashed. The track, like they have in old World War II movies, the track is sort of like run off the it's like, run out. It's blown up. And there you are in the rain, and Noah and Sika and Kyoko come, running up, and there you all are before this big garage door. There's a smaller door off to the side, like a regular door.
I think, clearly I set off first, so I'd like to think with my physical skills, I'm the first to arrive. I'll get my back against the wall between the large garage door and the smaller door, then turn around and catch these four come jogging in. And I think as they come in, I'll be... Clearly I speak Swahili or something. I thought we were saying I'd come over here and you guys would stay there.
I'm not leaving you, Darius. And I go past him to the single door at the corner of the hangar.
Okay.
And I think I'll sort of like I'll be calling in Noah, Kyoto, and
I look at Kyoko, and I'm like, I don't know what the fuck just happened, but you look after her. You look after her, okay?
Of course.
No matter what.
It's man love, Noah. It's man love. That's what it is.
So this door it's untouched, and you can just pull a lever and open the door. It doesn't require any sort of special. It's not locked. You can just go right inside if you want.
The single door is this?
That's right.
Yeah. Okay. Do that.
Okay. So you open it up, and it's completely dark in here. This is a huge hangar. The walls are lined, with all kinds of tools and parts and whatnot for maintaining and repairing drop ships. And there is a drop ship in the middle of this hangar, and it is up on I guess a jack, or like a clamp. I guess comes down from the ceiling and kind of is grabbed onto it. So it's elevated off the ground to allow the mechanics to do what they do. Otherwise, it is quiet. There's no signs of any fighting or damage here.
And I'll gesture to Darius from the doorway.
Everybody go in.
I'll signal to the others, hand signal to the others, and I'll make my way along the sort of wall, and see what Bryant has found for us.
Okay. I'll assume just so everybody's kind of, to kind of fast forward a little bit. Well, everybody kind of looks around, comes in, you close the door, and you hear like, maybe there's a couple. No, it's a well-made facility. So I was going to say there was dripping through holes in the ceiling, but no, this place is solid. It feels kind of good actually to be out of the rain. It's quiet. There's no signs of any danger or anything. I say it's enough to probably relax again. So everybody go ahead and reduce your stress by 1. Running across the field full tilt, getting into this place, with it being quiet and secure. Feel secure at least is enough to give reduce your stress by 1.
Yeah, and I put a hand on Darius. As we stack up behind Darius the door, you just see his hand fall on his thing and squeeze it for a second, and just nod. Reassuring with the completely unlikely calming presence.
Okay. So Darius, you can lose another point of stress if you want from Noah's calming presence. And you look around a little bit. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, just saying thanks.
Okay.
Yeah.
You look around a little bit, and like I said, there's all kinds of tools and things. And Bryant, we've established, you've got all the licenses and stuff, but you're no pro when it comes to being a pilot. But you can see, enough. You can see that the reason that this drop ship was here in the hangar getting some work. You can see a lot of the heat panels, that allow you to go through the atmosphere, are in the midst of being replaced. That, looking around and checking, like there's like probably like a log, like a paper log that the mechanics were using to record what they were working on. You can see that this drop ship. Oh, and by the way, what's the name of the drop ship? It's on, it's written on the side of it, like old school World War II, or I don't know if the British did it too, but we would put like pictures and words on the side of our B-17 bombers. What do you think this thing's called?
Hope.
Hope the dropship.
And we have Providence in orbit.
Paul, do you have a different idea?
No. Alan has beat me on 2 fronts. He got to the picture first, and he named it first. So that's perfectly fine. I was hoping for something slightly more military.
Well, how about it says Hope, but it also has like a picture of like. Never mind. We'll go with Hope. So it says Hope on it, and looking around. So, like I said, you check the logs, and you can see that otherwise this dropship should be good to go. But it will require some work. It will require, in mechanical terms, someone's going to have to do a shift of work to repair these heat panels if you intend to leave atmosphere.
Well, look, let's secure the door we got in through. And then, because it's dark in here, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So why don't we just get on board and secure ourselves on board? At least it's a secure place where we can kind of have a rest. Or do we don't
need to rest. No,
that's true. Okay, then let's go to work.
Okay.
Can you remember, like these things went straight through the wall? We should take the ship. We should fly to the spire. Maybe they've got another ship there.
Oh,
no, I like the idea of securing let's secure the building.
Yeah.
Make sure it's secure while the competent people can get on and do whatever needs to be done.
Let's just
get this thing flight ready.
So I mean, like, it's the difference between the two plans is, either way we're securing it. It's the 5 hours spent fixing it, or it's we take it out now and we try our luck somewhere else on Nublar. Which, as far as I can see, what's left on the map really that we haven't checked out is the Spire, which is a Weyland-Yutani complex, which may have more ships, other stuff. It's the difference between staying here for 5 hours or moving on.
Rationally, didn't the kind of the dome-like electrostatic field? Oh, I've frozen. Have I frozen?
No, you're good. You're okay.
The electrostatic field, this kind of hemisphere, that was centered on the spire, wasn't it?
That's right.
Out of the top of the spire, that kind of.
Yeah, like there's a big like cell phone tower-ish thing that projected this field from the top of the spire, and it created the apex of the dome. Of course, that's all down now. That's probably clear.
Down, but in terms of flying to it, that would not seem to be the logical way Weyland-Yutani operated. So why would there be any vehicle on its summit?
Well, there's clearly some structure up there. And of course, any sort of structure, especially as something as sophisticated as that, there would have to be some way to get up there to maintain it and repair it, right? So how Weyland-Yutani would do that, you don't know. It is certainly big enough and flat enough that either way, you could land there if you wanted to. I'm not saying you should do that, but that's certainly an option. If you want to fly around in the dropship, this thing would work. Now, let me throw a little bit more into the pot. So between the hangar and the nearby workshop, there's all the tools and everything that you might need. But in addition, you find Noah. You find something a real juicy item. You find this like suitcase, which you can open up, and it's got all the controls for a. I forget what they call it. Hold on one moment.
Is it one of those remote controls?
Exactly. It's one of those, they use them in Aliens. Bishop goes out, attaches it to the comm tower, and if you were to do the same thing, you could possibly fly a dropship down from the Meredith Vickers space station, if you could connect to the comm tower, or somehow get power back on and find like an operations center or something in the base itself.
Could the Providence land here?
It could, if you could access its controls. You could use this uplink if you could get contact with the Providence's. I don't know. Well, I guess that's up to you, Darius. Do you think the Providence has the ability to be remote controlled, like a dropship, or do you think that's not part of its function?
No, I think there's good reason that near enough any ship should be controlled remotely. That makes reasonably absolute sense, as long as it's secure. It's whether that a space-going vessel is really
Yeah.
I don't think it can. I don't think it's transatmospheric.
Yeah, I think I agree. As I think about it as you're talking, I think it's either too big for this landing zone, or it's just structurally not designed for atmospheric landing. So I think we're going to stick with the dropship. So this adds another option. You could connect to the comm tower or restore power to the base, and somehow then use the uplink terminal to remote control a dropship. Hypothetically, if you're able to make connection and it's available and all that good stuff. But I mean, that's another possible alternative that you guys could use.
I think that's a fine idea if we can't fix this.
Dig in for 5 hours, do the heavy machinery. Sounds good. Okay.
And I mean, it must be said that none of us are very skilled at this.
No.
Yeah, so that's why I'm thinking that's a really, that's a good backup, just in case, we screw up. Although I'm thinking, heat shields for going out, that's, heat shields are good for coming in. So maybe just reach an orbit. It's not the end of the world, but, clearly it needs to be reasonably aerodynamic. So, we do need those panels being fitted.
Right. And I think the other thing to add is if you were to try to remote control a dropship to come down here, it would still take a shift for the ship to fly, from space down to the surface also. So I think...
And we'd have to go outside again.
And maybe to the top of the atmospheric processing building, I'm liking the idea that,
I'm surprised you didn't say, Noah, why don't you go out there? That's what I thought you'd say.
Poor Noah.
We're not all against you, Noah. We're not all against you.
I mean, through the rain, to the atmosphere processor, and climbing onto its roof with a remote control is definitely a kind of session 5 kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
We're only at 3.
Yeah. So let me jog my brain. There was something else I was going to say. Oh, the only other wrinkle that you realize as you look at this dropship and start to think about what you need to do is that a dropship doesn't have wheels. It has, landing skids. So you see that there is like a, what would you call this?
I work with them on a daily basis because Apache helicopters, basically, you get a little tow truck
right.
and it will sort of jack them.
Right.
Gazelle helicopters that are on skids. Basically, get some wheels that then sort of lift it up and can move it around.
So yeah, this thing has like a little, I'm not sure what you'd call it, but like something that you can lower. And the other thing is power. You guys are gonna have to use quite a bit of power for this whole operation, but you could power up this lift, and it would drop this dropship down onto a platform that has wheels. But then you need something to pull this dropship out to the landing zone, or at least outside, so then you could take off. So that would have been that tractor that you saw just outside that's all burned out. So you're going to need to find... Now, you do remember when you came in the garage, you did see another there was a tractor there. There was another tractor that was in, it looked like it was functional. It was ready to go, but someone's going to have to go out to drive that thing over here. So that adds another wrinkle to your plan, but that, I think what we'll do, we're coming up towards noon, so I think this is a good time. You're kind of here. The rain is pouring outside. You're starting to come to your plan. You feel relatively safe for at least a moment. This is probably a good time to pause for today. Let me first ask, is everybody okay putting this on YouTube? Good. Let's talk about end of session advancement. So this is your third session. You survived. So today, we've already talked about, several of you guys decided to change your buddy and rival setup. So I think we've already done that. So again, poor Noah. And the other thing is you can add 1 level to any of your skills that you used today. We used quite a few skills today, so you have some options.
Could that include stamina or heavy machinery?
Yes.
Yes, stamina's a skill, even though it sounds like a stat. But I'm going to go with heavy machinery because actually I did use it.
Yep. I think, yeah, definitely. Everybody either rolled it or assisted on it. So, yep. Stamina, heavy machinery, tech. Everybody did that. Range combat. Although I don't think, Noah, you actually shot anything.
No, I hit something and then I hacked. You know,
That's right.
I will go with my. I will
You did use
improve my
hand-to-hand,
comtech.
didn't you know?
Yeah, I'll go with my comtech.
Comtech? Okay.
Then I will go with stamina.
Okay. And again, it's not going to be like your guys aren't going to die if you don't do this, but I did just remember, you know, that we're looking forward. You have some dropship flying coming up in your future. Somebody, and Noah, you did use piloting today. You might consider piloting, but we.
No, you're right. You know what? You're right. That's a good.
Well, I am relying on the fact that Brian does claim to be a pilot.
That's
no,
true.
yeah. Brian claims to be the pilot.
Yeah.
So
that's good.
I mean,
I think in kind of role play terms, I think everyone's going to look at Brian, who currently is thinking, "Shit, I'm having to fly it out of the hangar."
Earlier going, pilot's license or something.
Right.
Yeah, we see him patting those licenses.
Yeah, so I do expect Brian to be able to pilot most things.
Right. It's going to be one of those fits and starts. It's going to be like,
Don't scratch it on the way out, Mr. Sulu.
Exactly. All right. I think that's good for today.
Jason, I think Alan went to. It wouldn't surprise me if Alan tried to fulfill his Act 2 agenda. Clearly, I don't know what that is, but I think he tried for it, and I think I tried for mine in my response to him. Clearly, I'm not going to read that out either. But
I wasn't certain I wasn't certain what mechanical heft in terms of end of session they had.
They actually we don't worry about those until the end of an act.
Okay.
So you're still in Act 2.
No problem.
You guys, we did cover a lot of ground today. I'm very pleased.
Yeah. Just noted down. I think I fulfilled it. But
yeah, I think I'm not going to give away any secrets, but I think everybody is definitely making move, and all you need to do is make motions towards it. You don't need to accomplish it. You just need to make it part of your role play that you're trying to accomplish it. So I think everybody's in good shape on that. I wouldn't worry about that at all. I think you guys are all in line to get those story points come the end of Act 2.
That worries me with Noah, because Brian's was horrendously obvious. I'm not too sure what Noah's is.
Yeah. We're getting
you two have still got
the
two story
audience.
points.
The audience did need to know.
right. And we're getting close. Next session, I imagine, we'll probably be hitting Act 3, and the Act 3 agendas are real heavy hitters. So the personal agendas tend to escalate in their dramatic impact, or the things that they expect of you. So be prepared for some doozies coming up in Act 3. Any other thoughts or questions? like I said, we covered a lot of ground. I'm real happy with the way it's going. We'll do Stars and Wishes after next session, but just to throw that out to everybody, I'm really happy with the way this is going. Your guys' characters are wonderful. Alan just is nonstop and is like needling on Noah. And I know you guys play together all the time, so I'm sure there's no personal feelings, but or bad feelings between the two of you. So
I love it.
We all know it's in good fun. Yeah.
Yeah, Brian is definitely the guy that's like, he's the Burke of this one. He's maybe not quite as slimy as Burke, but he's definitely the one who's like, he's the toxic part of the group here.
He's the one to watch, isn't he?
Yeah. All right, guys, I think that's good. So I'll see you next Sunday. Have a good week. I really hope Jamie shows up. That'll solve your piloting problems.
She comes to in the pilot's chair, just like, oh.
All right. Bye, guys. I'll see you later.